Charles had been having a rather hard time getting his shop started, even though he was living his religion faithfully. His competitors next door, who had apostatized and never paid tithing, yet they had a larger trade and put out inferior workmanship. At this time, he had their last 20 cents in his vest pocket and was told to bring home potatoes from the 3rd Ward store east on 4th South. There hadn't been one customer in his harness shop all day, and it was closing time. He never left his shop without first kneeling down to ask protection and thank his Heavenly Father. He prayed to his ever-ready Father in heaven to help him live so that he might be able to gain a livelihood for his families. As he was praying, a voice answered and said, "You have friends you know not of." As he arose from his knees, a man entered the now darkening store, and Father didn't recognize that the man was an Indian until he reached the front of the store. He was just going to say that he didn't want any buckskin that day when he noticed the fine, noble character in this white Lamanite face. The prospective customer was looking at and examining an Indian-made horsehair braided riding bridle. Charles said, "There's some very beautiful workmanship in that bridle. You may have it as a gift." The Indian smiled and thanked him, saying, "Thank you, brother, but I have no need for a bridle or saddle now." They talked together a while, and then he left the shop, leaving such a warm, friendly feeling that so enveloped Charles that he immediately thanked his Heavenly Father for the spirit of brotherly love extended to him by his Lamanite brother. Putting on his coat and vest, Charles went out and pulled the door shut. He reached in his vest pocket to get a key when it seemed he received an electric shock, and hastily withdrew his hand, for he knew he'd touched paper money. He knew full well that he had only 2 dimes and his key in that pocket a short time ago. It took a few seconds for him to recover his shocked surprise when he took the bill from his pocket and examined it. It was a new paper $5 bill. It looked as if it had come from the U.S. Mint. This was impossible, however, because San Francisco was the nearest mint. "I have that bill now." Father wrote the date February 7th, 1877 on it, so no one would spend it. Father kept it as long as he lived and then gave it to Mother, and she gave it to me, Rebecca, her daughter, just before her death. As he stood there on the sidewalk wondering about the strange incident and silently asking his father the meaning of it all, the same voice that had guided him long as he remembered said, "You have friends you know not of." That was all. Locking the door, he proceeded south on State Street to get the potatoes, all the while pondering the lesson he'd just received. He felt this was to show him that his father knew his needs and could supply if necessary. Thinking of an idea similar to this, Josiah Gilbert Holland said, "God gives every bird its food, but he does not throw it into its nest."